What's going on, ladies and gents? My name is Rayofpandas and welcome your faces back to part 2 in this series. Now, I know I'm late with this video, but today's going to be something different because my dumb self got caught up in building and growing out my base, or my home base, whichever you prefer. I do need a name for my home though, so if you guys could let me know down in the comments below, that'd be awesome. BT dubs, if you haven't already, remember to subscribe for free and look out for more Valheim content. 300 days on Halloween. As per usual, I died plenty of times, raged a bit, and became a professional lumberjack. Here's what happened. Day 100, and we're back in the world of Valheim. Feeling great. I proceed to check on the bees because bees. I take off my clothes feeling all naked like, and I get to work. Mining through what's left of the day, nighttime shortly peeks around the corner. It's cold and I'm alone, only to realize that I run into a small, a medium, and a large grayling/gray dwarf. After all was said and done, I head back to my home while over encumbered, setting up a stone cutter and finishing off my stone floors. Day 101 rolls around and we're just about to finish my first little project. I then take to the grounds and search for more rocks, smacking and mining all I could. Moments later, I noticed that I needed some extra wood, so we started chopping and gathering all birch as well. Using some of the resources, I then fix up my cooking area and build some campfires, eventually placing down a cauldron with a few cooking racks. But of course, I get too close to the fire and set myself ablaze.
Oh, hot, 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 hot.
Nighttime slowly creeps around as I start emptying out my inventory. In both carts, might I add. I quickly gather myself as I head back inside, repairing and waiting for the rest of the stuff. Day 102 is here and I find myself looking to chop down and gather more wood. Unfortunately for me, there's a few obstacles in the way. Lovely. Have I mentioned how much I love obstacles and how they try to kill me? Afterwards, I finally start heading back home and what do you know? I'm stuck. And yes, because my axe is broken after chopping down all that wood, I have to run home and repair and then run back to chop down this dang tree stump. Almost back home now, and dare I say it, I'm stuck. Again, super fun by the way. So I then take a few trips back and forth as I try to empty out the cart a bit. I finally get it free and park it outside. I eventually realized that if I wanted to chop down trees quicker, that I need the elder buff. So in doing so, I made my way to the altars to become Super Saiyan and finally took to my slumbers and went to bed. The next day, day 103, I went back to the forest with my newfound powers, suited up, and began whacking away as I sliced and diced. I did, however, take some time to enjoy the slaughter that was the tree burial grounds. That being said, after all the chopping, I managed to kill off a few more great orcs, a brute, and set myself on fire again. Hoorah! Waking up to day 104, I found myself unhappy with the wonky and jank terrain. So that being the case, I started mining out way too much, which must have taken me far too long. For parts like this, I'll give you a small taste of a time lapse on how I actually developed my land. Day 105 arrived and I was still at it with developing my land. Taking some time in between as I would use my hoe to flatten out the area because ADHD and all, but also it just looked 10 times better. It was day 106 and I was on a mission to kill a deer, and I did so as I chased the last one just on the outskirts of the forest, finishing it off with my 420 360 no scope. I then take down my portals and carefully place them around that tree that grew fantastically on my land. This thing was magnificent. I'm talking like Lord of the Rings beaut. A few moments later, I was clearing out and tending to the terrain again. Raining now and feeling all gross, I figured it was no better time to sleep. Day 107 and 108, I was pretty much just mining away, trying to outline where I wanted my base or my home to be. Lo and behold, I was mining and I actually came across some hidden loot. Oh, happy days and juicy loot. Day 109 is when the problem started. Or I guess for the viewers, the entertainment began. The trolley boys, the blue trolls, were in town and started shaking the ground. The first two trolls that spawned smack dab in my base, breaking everything like the uninvited guests they were. So here I was and thinking I could melee them, and that was a load of crock. There was no way I was using melee here, so I quickly turned to my bow and arrows and started firing away. One shot after the other, I'd slay them where they stood and took their heads as a trophy. Forgetting that there was more, I spotted another troll just on the hill. I quickly made do with the last 2 blue boys, gathered the rewards, and called it a day. The next few days, I finished clearing the land, using the hoe every so often to flatten things out. Some not so fun weather I had to deal with as I mined, but honestly, it looks great overall. And like, it took me literally like 5 hours to mine out this land. It was so annoying because like it was just a big mountain. Come to nighttime, we are killing another shaman, a big old brute, and finding some mysterious cloaked like figure in the background. Not sure if I was going to die or maybe I was to sell my soul, who knows. But I crept up closer to him and he disappeared. Day 114 and 115, I traveled far and wide, dealing with the occasional enemy or two, taking in and enjoying the beauty that was Valheim. I can't say it enough, but this game is wonderfully crafted and I just love the whole atmosphere. It's honestly a great game, and if you haven't tried it yet, please do give it a try sometime. Making it to day 116, I realized that I had no core wood and needed quite a bit, so I began my journey to the Black Forest, searching and chopping down most logs I came by, with the occasional bonk to the head, hoping I wouldn't die to a falling tree as I was cutting them down. On day 117, I decided on what I finally wanted to do with my home, and that was build something I could see myself live in. I started by adding more terrain to the side of my base on the right side, flattening it out when I could. I then added stone foundation as I began putting some doors up, fixing up the outline that was to be my side paneling, threw up some walls, and felt it was time to catch some Z's. Now the fun part, well, for me. Day 118, I went on to extend my new home, adding more foundations for the walkway, more roofing, and gave the front a nice decorative design. No one told me it was ugly because moments later, a big, beautiful brute came to voice their opinion and decided it was time I died. Did I mention I died again? After putting the brute to rest, I just wanted this day to be over, so I slept. But that's not where the fun stopped. Just my luck, the ground starts to shake as I'm literally going to sleep. So now, day 119 is here, and I'm trying my best not to die. Trying to melee while stepping side to side because I wanted to live. Is that such a bad thing? Figuring out that melee still wasn't the option here, I took out my bow and wasted the suckers. The next few days, I was back to my building, adding some standing torches, continuing with adding walls, and finishing up my roof. Things were finally coming along. Unsure of how to light my place up though, I saw these things called hearths. Tried putting a few on either sides, and man was I happy how they turned out. Honestly, they look gorgeous. Looking for a way now though to cover them up, I tried out some of these wood roof crosses and oh man, it was beautiful. I love it's so good. I added a few more walls to hide some stuff, built a few crafting benches, and ended it on a happier note. Thank God. Day 122 and 123, I was looking to expand some more of my base, only to notice I'd run short on resources. Of course I did. So out I went back into the forest, chopping down trees, collecting more wood, fighting another blue boy, and then chopping down some more trees. On day 124, I shot and killed some boars, a deer, and a neck. Good times, very good times. You know, sometimes you just gotta enjoy the little things. The next day, day 125, word of mouth must have spread because I was popular. I found me another blue boy and made sure to kill this one as quickly as possible. Day 126, I started my trek and gathered more rocks. Felt cold along the way, of course. Also killed a nasty brute, but lucky for him, my parry skills were on point, so he died. He was dead. He did. Within the next few days, I continued the expansion plan, putting up more walls and roofs, adding chests for extra storage, and ran into my first ever foul smell from the swamp. We fought draugrs to skeletons, shooting arrows at them. It was actually really fun. That was the first time I've ever been a part of that. With the last kill, the foul smell started to dissipate and I was in the clear to continue my build. So much closer to what I wanted for my build and what I had planned, I went on to add some finishing walls, replaced the entrance stone with some wood floors, and dug out into the water. I then added a staircase going down and 2 side stairs going up. On day 131, I extended my throne room more with support beams, flooring, and some stone foundations. The next day, day 132, I managed to get up 2 side floors, polish off the first floor, and fend off some more blue boys. I swear, blue boys are just like, what is happening? I took my bow out, fired off a shot, and made sure I wasn't anywhere close to home while killing the trolls. Clearing them out and looting up, I worked my way back while constructing some more wood beams and roofing just before heading to bed. Within the next week, I finally started working on the last piece of my home. I'd go to extending out the stone floors to the rest of my base, adding some additional walls, and putting some torches up so I could see at nighttime. Day 142 and 143 was pretty straightforward. I was tired of watching my home's durability be destroyed by rain or, well, the weather, so I built a staircase, got up onto my roof, and decided it was time to add the finishing panels. On day 144, I went out to the open land, took my cultivator and started planting some crops. I eventually put on some clothes, cooked a bit of food, and then took this journey to the swamp. I killed a few draugrs and skeletons along the way. It was a good day. Day 145 was upon me, and seeing that I had all this open space, I thought it was time to start adding more. And that more was a place for all my food. Again, I started with some foundations, a few wood floorings, and my best friend in the whole wide Valheim world that I did not talk to. Without even realizing it, day 149 was already here. As we started with those foundations and floorings before, crafting and placing our hearths, I started with walls and a second floor. Things were really starting to come along. Almost done with the roof to my new cooking place, the ground started to shake yet again, and honestly, I was not about it this time. As it went, I grabbed their attention, shot some arrows, and was shortly victorious. I eventually went back to finishing up the roof, and moments later jumped off that same roof to my death. Oh boy, I don't know what's wrong with me, guys. I'm gonna tell you right now, something's just like blue boys and death. That's all it is for me. As the days went by, I finally finished building my new cookery, setting up some smelters and charcoal kilns, building new walkways for my home so rain wouldn't get to me so easily. The amount of fulfillment I felt and how satisfied I was with my place. Honestly, I can't believe I started this and this is what I've been doing, but amazing. I feel amazing. It's now day 157, and you want to know what the best wake-up call could be? A brew walking into my home, literally walking into my home, hitting me multiple times, and then killing me. I did not approve of this at all. And if that wasn't enough, later in the day, the ground starts shaking again, and I'm murdered. I think karma played a part in that one. By this point, it was day 158, and I was truly tired with the blue boys and them shaking the ground 24/7. And so by this point, you could pretty much guess I started building a wall. My soon-to-be defense, let's say. Several days later, I went on to finishing the wall, filling and placing any roofs that I may have missed, and I missed quite a bit, guys. I missed a few. Killed and gathered some food along the way. At this point, I was officially happy with the progress I was making. Waking up into day 165, it was a good morning. I found myself looking at the cartography table that seemed new to me, and I had no idea how it worked. A little bit down the road, I forgot to set up my cooking area in the new place I built. And if there was one thing I didn't know is that the hearths burn you twice as fast. I died again. At this point, I just finished everything I could, cooked some food, and went to sleep. I was done. Day 166 was here, and for some reason I thought the best place to be was the plains. So I made my way across the Black Forest, killing some death mosquitoes and feelings, and let me tell you, there were some close calls. That being said, I wanted to try my hand at the toughest opponent, the Fueling Berserker. This guy was big. So far, this was probably the hardest fight, and there was no way I was using melee here. So I took my bow and arrow, and of course I eventually killed it off, but it did take some time. Farming another death mosquito or two, I found my way back home. Today was the day. Day 167, and I needed food. I went out on a food hunt, scavenging all the berries I could, shooting arrows at deers and birds. Did a bit of sorting at my food hut. I figured if I ever wanted to return to the plains, a portal would do just that. So I made my way back to set up a portal, making sure I also had a portal at home because yes, you need both a portal to and from said place. Gave her a name and then went to sleep. On day 168, after my trees sprouted within my confines, I gave them a little pizzazz, if you will. Just something to spruce them up. Just my luck and a bad joke later. The ground starts shaking again and I met with more blue boys. Killing both of them as quickly as I could, I stood around with the corpse, trying to pose for a picture. It just wouldn't take. The next few days, I figured there was no time like the present and decided on building a boat. I also needed a lot of iron for what I had next. As we set sail into the sea, another friend showed its ugly mug and tried knocking me over, almost destroying my boat as the last arrow pierced its skin and killed it. I immediately swam to the loot and back, continuing on my way. A short while later, I made it to my destination. the swamps. I stepped onto its vial-like shore and found a crypt, just what the doctor ordered. Upon entering it though, I was met with some big boy draugrs. Killing them off one by one, they started learning. Making my way slowly into the dark, mucky rooms, an archer then spotted me, laughed, and said, "Heh, boy," and then proceeded to snipe me out of existence. So not only did I just get murdered yet again, I spawned at home, far away from where I was. Thankfully though, having already built a portal in the plains, so I could just then run over to the crypt. Again, I was in the plains, so as expected I died. Finally making my way to the crypt in that same room, and I died again. Eventually I became boss and killed everything on sight, mining and taking what I could as I stored it into my boat. Literally turned tail and left. Sailing away as I dealt with a storm or two, I made it home soundly, making sure to store any and all iron I gathered from the crypt. Day 178, I learned from my mistakes, making sure to have the materials on me as I traveled through a portal this time, setting up my new boat. With the iron we farmed previously, I made the biggest ship I could. That thing was massive. We set sail to more crypts because I was still in need of a lot more iron. Now this is where things get really good, because a week had gone by and I was determined to find all the iron I could, and what seemed like the longest but best haul of iron, I found crypt after crypt after crypt. This was unbelievable. I think in total there were 16 and counting crypts on just one island, and I managed to get a good 9 stacks of iron. I was able to farm my sweet tooth so very much. Sailing home, I was actually lucky enough to find a floating island turtle, which you can be dang certain I farmed its chitin. Safely making my way back home, I started production on iron in all my smelters, cooking everything I could at the time. About done cooking my first batch, the ground started shaking again, and my dumb head swam into the water as the blue giant took a swing. Guess what? I died. Oh, I died. Moments later, back at home, cooking away and getting all those juicy iron bars while filling up my charcoal kilns from time to time to get that coal. The next few days I spent cooking up a good chunk of iron, creating some bigger chests, filling out my base. Also, soon to realize what I'd done, planting a good 200 trees around my base, it dawned on me, and that was a bad idea. Guess you had to cut those trees down. Yeah, your boy Rayofpandas. Day 195, I spent making more chests, trying to place them to look all fancy like and creating name tags for all of them. Eventually naming them and then moving all of my previous inventory from the smaller chests to now the big ones and beautiful chesty boys. Nighttime eventually crept over the sky. It was dark and I needed to fix that. I built some beams and then went on to hang some really nice looking braziers with a few wall torches. Can you believe this is all I did with my 200 days? Like really? With it being day 196, I took some time to clean up a few logs, take in my boat, and just sit, really enjoying the moment and feeling content with my newfound home base. The next day, day 197, I built myself a fitting throne and had a banner up and going. My resting buff was beautiful though, a whopping 17 minutes total. That thing was awesome. I could not believe it. So today is the day 198. I can't believe I made it this far. Because honestly, it's taken some time. I've really been slacking on a lot of stuff lately. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, if you've made it this far, you know what to do with them spagdaddios, okay? Okay, in the comments down below, spagdaddios this time. But I just want to say thank you so much from literally the bottom of my heart. I really wouldn't be here if not for... even now, the constant support on how inconsistently my updates, or not updates, but my uploads have been schedule-wise, video-wise, all that stuff. But thank you so much. I really can't say it enough. Thank you guys a million to the moon and back. I really do appreciate it. Moving a forge and all its upgrades around. Funny enough, I was able to reach level 7 on my forge, although I don't think there's any use for it just yet. This is it, guys. This is it. Day 199. As it began, so it shall end. And what I mean by that is I checked on my bees just like on day 1. They were happy. And so was I. I did, however, step out for a moment, killing a few more deers and boars, then checking in on my coal. Apparently a lot had cooked and I was a happy camper. Took the coal, filled the smelters, finishing processing my iron, and then sleeping the last day off to 200. Day 200 is here. Oh, it's like I'm taking a breath, guys. Just like, oh, day 200. And I'm going for another like couple 100 days here because I am ready to work my butt off. Pardon my French there, I know, right? But it's gonna be insane. 200 days. We've come so far. There's been so much we did, we've done, and we still have to do. And I can't wait. I can't wait to show you guys what's to come, what I have planned, and all of the goodies that await us. It's gonna be fantastic, man. It is gonna be fan-freaking-tastic. I am really excited to show you guys. I am so happy with the way things have gone. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed part 2 of this series. Again, I want to preface and say that I'm sorry that it took so long. No excuses this time. Day 300 will come out in a week's time. Get ready, set your calendars, for it is today the 24th that this will be going up, because I'm going to make sure I get this done. And by the time it is November 4th, 10 days later, let's say, or no, let's say, you know what? Let's say Halloween the 31st. Let's say Halloween the 31st, it comes out day 300. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really do. You know what to do, as always, as per usual. And I will see you in my next video. This is Rayofpandas signing out. Bye, guys. And I'll see you in my next Valheim video.